For any of you that have been on a construction site or any work site, somebody's garage, a hardware store, you probably come across one of these. This, my friend, is an M12. Now, when Milwaukee IA first came out with these M12 bat rays, well, they were revolutionary, really. They were able to make the tool smaller, and you were still able to get the job done. They still had enough power to do what you needed them to do. For example, this tool right here. Now, this is the first gen multi-tool that was able to accept the M12. Now, this tool here, it overheats. It's not that powerful. It's loud, it's noisy, and a whole bunch of vibration. But over time, Milwaukee IA, they started improving the M12 lineup. They made their tools smaller and brushless and real nice-like. Except for the M12 ratchets. Hate the M12 ratchets. They're underpowered. Don't like them very much. Not real nice-like. And even though the M12 is one of the most used tools in my lineup, love the things, well, there were limits until now. So what we have right here is the brand new M12 5-inch circular saw. Now, I've used and abused. I put a couple shorts up. We're going to test this thing out. We're going to push it to the limits today, and I want to see what the M12 is capable of doing in this type of platform. No, I do want to state right off the bat, this is not for everybody. This is not for somebody that's ripping multiple sheets of the plywoodage. Very light. This is for framing. This is a framing saw. It's light and easy to use. But today we're going to see how powerful this thing may or may not be. And today we're going to cut the woodage. Now first we're going to use and abuse. We're going to slice and dice. And then we'll go over all the specs. We'll talk about what I'm running with this thing here and all the cool features.
It's a new saw! This is a new Milwaukee IA 5-names fuel M12 circular saw, MSRP $249.
So first we're going to start out with something easy. This is one by. You could also use this as molding, or if you speak Pittsburghese, mold in. Now this should be super easy to cut through, but we're going to try it out. What blade are we using? Well, we're just going to go with the stock blade that comes with this saw. It's a 5 3/8 16/2. Now this is a blade left saw. I'm right-handed, but I like my blade left. Some right-handers like blade right. A lot of people hate blade right. I'm curious, what do you like? Blade left or blade right? Let's slice and dice, use and abuse. 3, 2, 1. Oh, damn, that is real nice like. So when I first started testing this thing out, I was like, this thing is not going to be able to cut anything. It just seems so slow. But it's not. It's powerful. And the reason for that is I am using the 5.0 high output a bat ray. Now this comes with the saw if you buy it in the kit. However, let's try it with the 2.0, and this is just your run-of-the-mill regular 12 volt bat ray. We're going to put that in there like such. Now, number one, if you do use this, definitely not going to have as much power, and you're definitely not going to have as much runtime. But can it do it? Well, let's see. 3, 2, 1. It can do it. So just to be clear, I definitely felt a lack of power when running this saw. It just doesn't have the oomph that it does when you're running the high output, the 5.0. However, if you're in a pinch and that thing's charging, you only have one and you got this here and just got to make a couple cuts, well, that will do it. All right, so right here we have a 2x4 piece of woodage. This piece of woodage cost me $500. Now on top of that 2x4, we have some mold in that I'm going to slice and dice off. We were using this for another test. Now, of course, how to adjust this, I can bring this down to tighten it, or I can bring this up to loosen it, but that is my depth adjustment right here. Now, there's no positive stops for the depth adjustment or the bevel. So let's go ahead and remove this piece of molding, and we'll see how the depth worked. All right, it's real nice like. Now, of course, what's cool about this is small enough, light enough that you don't have to set this down. You just cut your stuff. Well, what about the 2x4 itself? Let's cut a couple pieces of this right here. Mm-hmm. 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 Not. Mm-hmm. Now this thing really does slice and dice, rip down through there if you're making straight cuts. However, remember this is still an M12, so if you do bind this up a little bit, well, let me show you what it does. Now I know you're not supposed to do this on the job site. You're supposed to make the straight cuts, but sometimes we do bind a little bit. Those larger saws, they will still push through. Now you can look at that as a positive or a negative. I'm just letting you know, if you bind this thing up a little bit, it's gonna cut out on you. Now, just real quick, you can hook a vacuum up to the back of this, so let's see how that does. A 3, 2, 1. Yeah, much less sawdust. So the dust collection actually worked really well. No saw on the market is going to pick up 100% of the dustage that you're putting out. However, this seemed to pick up about 75 to 80% of the dust that was coming out prior. So real nice like. Now what about a treated 2x6 piece of woodage? Now I'm going to tell you, it went down through real nice like, cut after cut. No issue, definitely has the power to do it. It's not like a rear handle saw or a heavier saw. This thing's going to move on you just a little bit. So you got to keep that in mind. However, the blade guard rides up real nice like over top of this. So all in all, really impressed with how well it did with the treated woodage. The adjustment is also pretty smooth. Again, no positive stops on any of them. Now the numbers are etched on this thing. You can see on the plate here. And then on the bevel, they are not the easiest to read. They are smaller, but this is a smaller saw. I'm just pointing that out that, well, if you have vision problems, well, you might have problems looking at these. Standard blade stop here, so you push this button in right here. Then you got your wrench storage right here, and you can just remove the blade, put the new blade on. Also have the small raptor hook on this side. I'm glad they added that on this. And again, definitely not the most powerful saw on the market, but it's definitely not meant to be. This is for smaller job, one-offs. If you're just slicing and dicing, you don't want to carry around a giant circular saw, a rear handle saw. You just want something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more nimble, but will get the job done. This is a really good tool from Milwaukee. Milwaukee. Must have had a word slip there. Now, of course, the price for this is, and the warranty is, really like the feel of the hands. You got that little paddle switch right here, like pretty much all saws do. You got the little handle right here that helps you really guide this thing in so you don't bind this thing up. Not sure how well you can see it, but you also have a little LED light right here by the base plate that'll kick on when you pull the trigger, and it'll stay on for a little while, but that'll illuminate your work area. And all around this is solid. So I want to know what you think. Leave me a sweet comment in the comment section below. And it's an instant start. I mean, really, you wouldn't think when you first pick this up, you're gonna be like, this ain't gonna cut through anything. Feels like one of those old saw toys that I had back in the day, but it will cut. Watch the fingers. I really think that this changes the way you look, or at least I look at the M12. Got another video for you right here.